Lin Fei squatted in the pile of wastelands, his hands were covered in oil and his face was covered in dust. He was holding a broken wrench in his hand, and was knocking on a piece of raw armored shell. All around were old parts, piled up like hills, with a pungent smell of iron and oil flying in the air. This place is his home and the battlefield where he fights life every day. Hey, Lin Fei, don't knock it, that broken thing has not been saved. Apart from now on, an old man and a broken worker was holding a smoke, leaning against a scrapped armored leg, grinning, revealing a mouthful of yellow teeth. He is the boss of the iron pile, and the only person in this broken place who is quite humane to Lin Fei. Brother, you don't understand. There must be something good in this case. I said I could sell a few credit points and eat hot food. Lin Fei didn't raise his head, and continued to work hard. All over his head was sweating. He is only 17 years old this year, as thin as a bamboo pole, but his eyes are as bright as stars, and he is filled with a womb that is unwilling to accept it. The old iron spitted out a smoke ring and said, "You kid, what future can you make if you break it? For those of us, we can just eat a lot of waste iron. If you want to start, don't always have a daydream." Lin Fei raised his hand and glanced at Lao Zi, dissatisfied. Who said it? One day, I will open my armor and step those precious young men under my feet, so that they know that our bottom-level people can also turn over. Ha, okay, you're awesome. When you can really get on the armor, I will applaud you the first one, my boss. The old man coughed with a smile, obviously not taking Lin Fei's words seriously. Lin Fei curled his lips and had to stop talking again, and continued to lower his head and knock. He knew that dreams were just jokes in places like waste iron piles. The armor is a toy of the rich, and the bottom-level people are not qualified to touch it, let alone drive it. What they can do is to repair and destroy the garbage that the rich people don't want, and to survive. But he was unwilling to give up. From small to old age, he watched the noble mass drivers driving cool armor and flying from the sky. The people below could only look up and didn't dare to say anything. He felt a little angry in his heart, and he always felt that he shouldn't be in this pile of wastelands. Just as I was thinking, the wrench in my hand suddenly sounded click and knocked the shell open a hole. Lin Fei's eyes lit up and he rushed over. He found that there was a black chip hidden inside, with some strange symbols engraved on the corners. What's this? Lin Fei muttered, picked up the chip, looked at Yang Guang, and found that the surface of the chip was implicated in optical flow, as if it could still be used. Brother, come and see, what's going on? Lin Fei shouted. Lao Zi walked over slowly, took the chip and glanced at it twice, and his face suddenly became a little weird. This thing seems to be the control chip of an ancient armor. The current armor no longer needs such an old antique, it may be something from a few hundred years ago. Can you use it? Lin Fei's heart was thrilled, believing that this thing was not simple. Lao Zi touched his chin and smiled. It's okay to use it, but it must be equipped with a supporting core of the armor. But, in our pile of waste irons, I might have something to match the number. You guys are very lucky, come with me. Lin Fei followed the old iron and walked around to a corner at the deepest part of the waste iron pile. There were piles of broken armored bones here, almost turning into a group of iron lumps. The old iron pointed to the skeleton of a dusty armor in the middle and said, "Here, I have been collecting this thing for a few years, but no one has ever wanted it. Try to see it, put the chip in, and you may be able to start it." Lin Fei was half believing, but he still climbed onto the broken armor, found the control box, and plugged the chip into a dusty slot. As soon as he inserted it, the armor suddenly buzzed and released a low sensation, and the whole slaughter began to shake slightly. "I'm going, can you really move?" Lin Fei was so surprised that he almost rolled out of the control box. The old iron also widened his eyes and murmured, "It's really good. This armor is not simple, maybe there's a secret hidden in it." As the voice fell, a blue light suddenly lit up in the control board, and a mechanical sound came out coldly. The core chip was detected, the system was activated. The combat module was self-examination, and the energy reserve was 3%. War force module. What's the thing? Lin Fei was stunned and turned to look at the old iron. Lao Ji's eyes became a little excited, and he said in a low voice, "Boy, you're so lucky. This armor is probably a game from an ancient war scene. There may be a high-level battle module inside, and the firepower can beat the current low-level armor. However, the energy is not enough, and the top can move for a few minutes. You try to control first, so don't waste it." Lin Fei's heartbeat was like a drum beat. He sat in the control board and pressed several buttons in a hurry. The armor started to move click, and although it was stiff, it could definitely hear his fingers, and there was an inexplicable sense of pressure in every move. Old iron, is this thing really possible? Lin Fei was so excited that he controlled the armor and turned around, almost knocking the pile of waste irons next to him. Wind. But don't be proud. Controlling the armor is not a knocking iron. If you don't have any skills, you can only be cannon fodder. If you hear me, be familiar with the operation first. Don't be beaten into a waste as soon as you go on the scene. The old iron said, with light flashing in his eyes, which clearly showed that he was very confident in the potential of this armor. Lin Fei was about to try again, but suddenly a harsh engine sound came from afar. Then, several low-level armors flashed with metal light fell from the sky and fell stably on the open space of the wasteland. The armor on the head was covered with a red dress. As soon as the door opened, a young man in a white fighting suit jumped down, full of arrogant faces. It was the person Lin Fei had most complained about, Zhao Tianlong. Yeah, isn't this the little Prince Lin Fei who was riding garbage piled up by waste iron? Why, are you shaking again today? Zhao Tianlong rolled the two noble followers around him, holding a lollipop in his mouth, smiling happily. Lin Fei bit his teeth tightly, jumped off the armor, staring at Zhao Tianlong. Are you here to fuck? You are not welcome to these precious young men here. Ha, don't waste it. I heard that you have collected some good parts in this broken place recently. I just happened to be missing a few pieces of materials, so I'll take a little back and have fun. You'd better know each other, don't force me to do it. Zhao Tianlong waved his hand, and the few low-level armors behind him took a step, and it showed a dong heavy, full of threat. Lin Fei's fist was clenched tightly and he didn't say anything. He knew that his trash was not a match for these precious masters at all. But the fire in his heart became stronger and stronger. What can these people bully them at will? Lao Ji left at this time, narrowed his eyes and said, Sir Zhao, there is nothing good in our small place, so don't waste time. The parts and other parts are all broken, and you don't like it. Old, don't put garlic with me. Believe it or not, I'll let someone pile up your waste irons to tear it down. Zhao Tianlong sneered, pointed at his hand, and a motor armor behind him raised his arm directly. The energy muzzle began to recharge, and the blue light flashed, and it could open fire at any time. Lin Fei could no longer hold it back, turned his head to look at Lao Ji and said in a low voice, Old Ji, let me try it. This broken armor may be a bit color for them. The old Iron Watch hesitated for a moment, and finally gritted his teeth and pointed, Okay, but don't show off. You don't have enough energy. Take a few more tricks on your head. Remember, life-saving first. Lin Fei didn't say anything, crawled back to the control board and pressed the start button suddenly. The armor stood up straight with a sound. Although the outer shell was so broken, the atmosphere that was emitting at that moment made the followers behind Zhao Tianlong stunned for a moment. Ah, can this broken thing move? Lin Fei, do you want to laugh to death? Zhao Tianlong laughed loudly, pointing at Lin Fei's armor and said, Come on, I'm in a good mood today, and play with you. Let you know that the waste iron is always a waste iron. As he said, he jumped back to his armor, and with a slap in his hand, a low-level armor rushed up directly. The energy cannon opened fire with a bang and headed straight to Lin Fei's armor's chest. Lin Fei felt nervous, his brain was covered with basic operations taught by Lao Ji, and his fingers quickly clicked on the control panel. The armor sounded click and flashed from the side. It forced itself to dodge the energy cannon, and only a string of sparks flashed from the bones. I'll go, can you really hide? Lin Fei was shocked. He immediately sneered at the corner of his mouth, and the unwilling agitation in his heart was finally ignited. System, the war module is activated. He shouted, regardless of whether the energy is sufficient, and pressed a red button. The war module is activated, the energy consumption is increased, and the remaining operation time is 2 minutes. The mechanical sound rose coldly, and then, a huge energy knife suddenly popped out from the broken arm of the armor, and the blue light flashed on the blade, emitting a terrifying sense of pressure. Zhao Tianlong's follower obviously did not expect this. He was stunned for a second. Then the control armor passed by, and the energy cannon was launched, trying to make a forced flight. But Lin Fei bit his teeth tightly and forced himself to control the armor to dodge left and right. His broken body looked particularly wolves in the artillery fire, but he was not hit by the vital points. Go to you! Lin Fei roared, grabbed the cold gap of the opponent's energy cannon, and rushed over. The energy knife slashed it hard, directly chopping down the right arm of the low-level armor. Steel! The slaughter fell to the ground, causing a dust to rise. Zhao Tianlong's follower was stunned and a voice came from the control board. Mr. Zhao, there is a problem with this broken armor. I can't hold it anymore. Zhao Tianlong's face finally changed. He gritted his teeth and looked at Lin Fei, and roared, battle. Can a broken twig force you to be like this? Just give it to me and tear that broken thing. The other two armors immediately came up, and the energy cannon and melee weapons greeted each other. Lin Fei's armor was instantly hit by sparks, and the energy bar fell violently, and he was about to be unable to hold it. Boy, don't fight hard, withdraw. The old man shouted from below, full of anxiety. But Lin Fei bit his teeth tightly and stared at Zhao Tianlong's armor. There was only one thought in his brain, he couldn't get it. You can't let these precious young people look down on you. System, the energy is fully opened, give me the last hit. He suddenly pressed the final button on the control panel, and the armor buzzed, and a blue current burst out from the entire body, and the light of the energy knife suddenly burst out. Zhao Tianlong, take the move. Lin Fei shouted, and the control armor rushed directly towards Zhao Tianlong's seat, regardless of the attacks of the other two armors. The energy knife slashed down hard, and slashed the shield of Zhao Tianlong's armor into a crack. The huge impact force made the opponent's armor take a few steps back and almost overturned. How is this possible? Zhao Tianlong's voice came from the armor, full of shock and incredible. Lin Fei's armor finally consumed all his energy at this time, and he knelt on the ground with a click sound, controlling the lights of the wheel. He gasped, sweating heavily, and grinned, Zhao Tianlong, how can you? Can the waste iron beat you up, are you convinced? Zhao Tianlong's face was blue, staring at Lin Fei fiercely, gritted his teeth and said, you wait for me, you will leave today. Brothers, let's go, and we will deal with this kid another day. Several machines quickly withdrew, leaving behind a mess. The bottom-level people around the waste pile were all over here, their eyes filled with shock and excitement. Some people even began to whisper, this kid really forced the noble clan driver back. The old iron walked over, patted Lin Fei on the shoulder, and grinned, boy, you're doing it well. But this is the beginning, and that guy Zhao Tianlong will definitely not be good at ease. The potential of your armor has not yet been fully exposed. Next, we have to repair it and give it to those rich young people. Lin Fei looked at the sky far away, clenched his fists, and an unprecedented aspiration ignited in his heart. He knew that this broken armor was his starting point, and he wanted to use it to hit those who looked down on him hard and become the strongest ace driver on the Star Wars. At this moment, a rapid pace came from afar. Xiaomei ran over panting, holding a broken data board in her hand, shouting excitedly, Lin Fei, I just found a line, saying that there is a hidden spot for the ancient armor parts nearby. Come and see it with me, and you may be able to upgrade your armor again. Lin Fei heard Xiaomei shouting and felt excited. Rim jumped out of the broken armor control, wiped the sweat from her face, and grinned, really? What are you waiting for? Take me to see. Xiaomei gasped, slapped the broken data board in her hand, and said excitedly, The news I just came from an old repairman said that it was a deep wall on the east side of the wasteland pile, and there might be a core power module inside. If you can get it, your armor may be able to have another wave of war. Core power module? Lin Fei's eyes lit up and he turned his head to look at Lao Ji. Lao Ji, what level is this thing? Can I make this broken armor more powerful? The old iron held the smoke, squinted his eyes and looked at Lin Fei up and down, and smiled. Boy, your energy is really good. The core power module is the heart of the old model armor, and its energy output can be several times stronger than the current lower-level mechanical armor. If you can really dig it up, install your broken blade, and the firepower can directly hit Zhao Tianlong's protective shield, and you may be able to hold it for longer. What are you waiting for? Let's go! Lin Fei said nothing, and pulled Xiaomei to run to the east. The iron shouted from behind, "Be careful, that place is not safe, don't show off." The depth of the east side of the waste iron pile is a forbidden area, and even the most desperate person in normal times dare not go. The terrain is low, and it has been filled with the dead body of the armor that has been buried for hundreds of years. At any time, there will be a power leakage from the energy core. If it is not done properly, it will explode. Lin Fei and Xiaomei ran all the way, and the fishy iron smell in the air became more and more heavy. The waste irons around him were piled up like a misty palace. At any time, you could still hear the squeaking current sound, which made people's head numb. Lin Fei, there is really a bit of evil here, so we can avoid falling in the head. Xiaomei held the data board and followed Lin Fei tightly, trembling in the sound. What are you afraid of? I'm here. The two of them flipped through several piles of waste irons and finally came to the deep edge. Looking down, it was as dark as a bottomless pit, and I could only see a few pieces of raw armored bones scattered at the bottom. Lin Fei gritted his teeth, found a broken blade and hugged it on his waist, and handed it to Xiaomei on the other end. Please help me and pull me down, and I'll go down and take a look. If you don't have the right answer, just pull me up. Okay, be careful. Xiaomei pointed her head, clasped the wand tightly with her hands, staring at him without blinking. Lin Fei climbed down the skeleton, with slippery iron pieces under his feet, and he had to fall down if he was not careful. He gritted his teeth and slowly touched the bottom. As soon as his foot fell to the ground, a strong burnt smell came from the stairs. He was surrounded by broken armor fragments, and several energy core modules emitted faint blue light, as if they could explode at any time. Damn, this place is really not something that people can do. Lin Fei concluded, lowered his head and started searching, knocking and hitting the wrench, and trying to find the core power module, Xiaomei said. But after searching for a long time, he didn't touch anything like that, but accidentally kicked a piece of energy slab, and instantly swallowed sounded, and the current started to irritate his palm. Lin Fei, what are you doing? Is it okay? Xiaomei shouted anxiously on it. It's okay, keep looking. Lin Fei gritted his teeth and endured the pain and continued to flip. But at this moment, a low rotate sound suddenly came from under my feet, and the entire bottom waist began to tremble slightly, as if there was something to crawl out. I'm going, what's going on? Lin Fei felt nervous, and Lima stepped back a few steps, staring at the front. I saw a bunch of waste irons being opened, and an old machine with only half of his body stood up. Although the outer shell was so ugly, a pair of red electronic eyes were astonishing. After locking Dinglin flying, a harsh mechanical sound came out. Check the intruder and start the anti-stop mode. Defense mode? Can this broken thing still move? Lin Fei was stunned and hurriedly hid behind a wasteland. Although the old armor was broken, it was not slow to move. He lifted a mechanical arm and the energy muzzle in his palm began to be charged. With a flash of blue light, he rushed directly towards the place where Lin Fei was hiding. Room! The waste iron was blown away, and Lin Fei was swept around by the waves, covered in dust. He gritted his teeth and his brain flew quickly. This thing has little energy and slow movements, so he should be able to hide. You have to find a chance to kill it, otherwise you will not be able to dig something. He picked up an iron stick, looked at the cold gap of the old armored energy cannon, and rushed over, smashing it hard against its legs. The iron stick was bang-bang, but the old machine's armor strap did not move, and he slapped over with his backhand, almost slapped Lin Fei. Damn, it's too hard. Lin Fei foamed, feeling in his heart. Just as I was worried about what to do, my eyes suddenly glanced at a piece of metal exposed behind the old armor. The mark of core power module was engraved on the corner. Although it was full of steepness, it was scattered with energy fluctuations. That's the thing. Lin Fei's heartbeat accelerated, and he changed his strategy without fighting head-on with the old man. He began to turn around and try to find a chance to start. But the old armor seemed to have locked him up. Although the energy cannon was slow, it forced him to slag every time, and it was almost blown into slag several times. Lin Fei, the skull can't stop, come up quickly. Xiaomei stomped her feet in an anxious mood, and her voice was almost crying. Give me another minute. Lin Fei shouted, staring at the module, and suddenly a light flashed in his brain. He grabbed a piece of waste iron and slammed the old machine's electronic eye. Taking advantage of the moment when the other party's visual line was blocked, he swept it behind it, and the wrench penetrated the gap in the edge of the module and pried it hard. Click! The module was broken off, and the old armor instantly lost its power, fell to the ground with a sudden sound, and the light from the electronic eyes finally went out. Lin Fei held the module, panting like a dog, and couldn't help but grin. It's done. Xiaomei, pull me up. Back at the top, Xiaomei looked at the broken module in his hand. Her eyes lit up. You really got it? Lin Fei, you are so awesome. Wind, who can hold me? Lin Fei was proud of his mouth, and his hands were shaking so hard that he simply walked around the ghost gate for a few minutes. Back at the waste iron pile, the old iron saw the module, and Lima applauded and said, What a guy, you really got it. Although this thing is old, its energy output is stable. If you install your armor, your firepower will double. Come on, I will help you, we will have to try it out with tight results. After working hard for the middle of the night, several people finally put the module into Lin Fei's broken machine. The moment it started, the armor strike sounded, emitting a strong energy wave. The entire body seemed to have come alive, the energy knife on the arm was brighter, and there were several more battle options even on the panels that controlled the wheel. The system has been self-examination, energy reserve, 78%, and the output of the war module has increased by 200%. The sound of the mechanical sound is cold, and Lin Fei is excited when he controls the armor and moves. He finds that the movement is much more fluid than before, and the sense of power is not the same level at all. Old Tieshue, can I be able to defeat Tianlong this time? Lin Fei asked excitedly. The old man smiled and pointed to the sky far away and said, Fuck him. Boy, the goal should not be so low. Recently, the first game of the Star Wars competition was held for low-level players. You can eat the prize money for a year and have a chance to be taken by big players. If you can get a good ranking, Zhao Tianlong will only help you with shoes. Compet? Lin Fei's eyes lit up and he pointed his head. Okay, I'll go and meet those nobles, so that they know that the people who are running waste are not easy to bully. A few days later, the competition registration was completed, and Lin Fei brought his broken armor to the first competition venue, a competitive field that was rebuilt from the Star Wars. All around are low-level motorists. Although the motor armor is not very good, it is much stronger than Lin Fei's broken machine. The audience was crowded with people from the bottom and civilians mingling and shouting from time to time. Lin Fei stood in the waiting area and heard a harsh laugh. Yeah, isn't this the little prince of garbage dumped in a pile of waste irons? Why, dare to compete with this pile of broken pieces? Are you not afraid of being beaten to pieces? When he turned around, Zhao Tianlong was standing far away with several followers, full of laughter. Although his armor is low level, his armor is very beautiful and his weapon configuration can cost a lot of money at first glance. The armor of several teammates is not bad, and his combat power is obviously stronger than that of ordinary people. Zhao Tianlong, what's the use of showing off his abilities? See you on the spot. Lin Fei sneered, and Shu Zhen ignored his pick and turned around to check his armor. "Humph, what kind of hard atmosphere do you wear? When you cry?" Zhao Tianlong snorted coldly and walked towards the competition with his teammates. When he passed Lin Fei, he deliberately hit his shoulder and looked full of his face. The first game is a mixed-up mode, with 50 machine armors being removed at the same time and eliminating until the last 10. As soon as Lin Fei entered the field, Lima became the target of the crowd. His armor was as broken as if it was about to fall apart. Several armors rushed over directly and tried to kill him first. "Want to use me as a soft persimmon? Make a dream." Lin Fei bit his teeth and controlled the machine to dodge left and right. The newly equipped power module made him faster. He didn't get some energy cannons. Then, he looked at a single armor, and the energy knife slashed down, and directly removed the other party's arm. The first one. Lin Fei grinned, his confidence increased greatly, and he began to take the initiative to attack and take the lead in the opponent. Although the outer shell of the armor was broken, the firepower was too hard to escape. After a few swords, the opponent would have to blow up the shield and retreat directly. In the audience, the bottom-level people were so excited that they saw it. Someone couldn't help but shout, "Good! Why is this broken armor so powerful?" But the good times didn't last long. Zhao Tianlong quickly locked Lin Fei with his teammates. 3 armors came over in a surrounding pressure, and the energy cannon was rushing, forcing Lin Fei to the ground. "Lin Fei, the game ends here. Brothers, break this pile of waste irons for me." Zhao Tianlong sneered and ordered that the artillery fire was so dense that it almost didn't give Lin Fei a chance to breathe. Lin Fei's armor was hit by 4 sparks, and the shield energy bar fell violently, and he was about to be unable to hold it back. He gritted his teeth and only had one thought in his brain: can't redirect. You can't let this guy laugh. System, the power module is fully opened, and the combat force is extremely limited. Lin Fei pressed the control panel suddenly, and the armor burst out with a buzz sound, and the light of the energy knife burst into flames, and the speed of the entire machine body reached the extreme limit. "Zhao Tianlong, your people will be reincarnated first." Lin Fei roared, not observing the artillery fire at all, and forced himself to rush towards a teammate beside Zhao Tianlong. The energy knife slashed down hard, directly slashing the other party's armor's chest shield into 2.5, and the warning of controlling the wheels was filled with 1. "Ah! Master Zhao, I can't hold back." The teammate shouted, and the armor knelt down on his face and withdrew from the competition. The whole scene was filled with silence, and a deafening cry broke out in the audience: "Awesome! What's going on with this broken armor?" The elite armor was instantly cut in one blow. Zhao Tianlong's face was blue, and he stared at Lin Fei with gritted teeth and roared, "You wait for me, this is just the beginning." Lin Fei panted heavily and grinned, "I will accompany you anytime, young." The game continues. Although Lin Fei defeated a strong enemy, the firepower of Zhao Tianlong and another teammate still made him breathless. At this moment, a figure in a black robe stood up on the audience, his eyes locked on Lin Fei's broken armor, and a flash of excitement in his eyes, and he said in a low voice, "This kid is a bit meaningful." Lin Fei stood in the center of the competition venue. The body of the breaking machine armor was filled with scorch marks left by artillery fire, and the energy bar was approaching the red line, making a harsh warning. Although the guy's armor was a little damaged, the shield was still flashing with a light, and there was a teammate next to it, which was obviously stronger than Lin Fei. "Lin Fei, don't be snatched. Your broken piece of fun should have been reported long ago. Come with another round of fire, believe it or not, I will just turn you into a scum." Zhao Tianlong's voice came from the communication channel, full of ridicule and pride. He controlled the arm and approached. The energy muzzle began to be charged, and the blue light flashed, ready to give Lin Fei a fatal blow at any time. He knew that although more than half of the people were eliminated in the first game, Zhao Tianlong had long been eyeing him. Now it is not only a win in the competition, but also a personal grudge. After the loss, not only did the faces go away, but the brothers who were riding the pile of iron would be stepped under the foot by this precious young man. But in front of him, his armor energy was less than 10%. Although the core power module was strong, the continuous combat had been loaded long ago and the operation was getting slower and slower. In response to the fact that the money at home is available, the configuration of the motor armor is very high level, and the shield and firepower are far superior to ordinary low-level motorists. When the energy was detected, the combat module entered low power mode. It is recommended to withdraw the game or seek cover. The mechanical sound rose coldly, without any emotion. Retreat? What a joke! Lin Fei gritted his teeth and suddenly flashed the old iron sentence in his brain: this armor contains the secret of old antiques. At the critical moment, it may be a big shot, but he has to pay his life to fight. He didn't take it seriously at that time, but now, there is no other way. Just bet. The system, release all restrictions and fully compress the final energy into the combat module. Lin Fei suddenly pressed a hidden button that he had never used. His palms were covered in sweat. Warning: full energy release will cause the collapse of the mechanical armor structure, and the safety of the control will cannot be guaranteed. Are you sure? The sound of the machinery sounds again, and the language is filled with a sense of danger. Agree. Let me fuck it. Lin Fei roared, and a crazy fire burned in his eyes. The command is confirmed. The war module is extremely limited to release, and the energy output is increased to 300%, which is expected to last for 30 seconds. The counter count starts. As the mechanical sound fell, the armor burst out with dazzling blue light, and the entire broken body seemed to be injected into life. The light of the energy knife burst into a 3-meter-long sword light, and the ground was reflected. Zhao Tianlong was also stunned for a moment, and immediately sneered, putting a god and making ghosts, seeking death. He waved his hand, and the teammates around him started to fire first, and the energy cannons burst into Lin Fei's armor chest. But this time, Lin Fei's armor was so fast that he could escape the fire, and he could dodge all the artillery fire. The energy knife slashed at the teammates' armor. The other party did not react yet, and the click sound of the shield was slashed into 2.5, and the control was directly exposed, and the warning sound was filled with one another. Mr. Zhao, save me. The voices of the teammates changed, but Lin Fei didn't give him any chance at all. The second knife directly slashed the leg of the machine armor. The entire machine armor fell to his knees and finally withdrew from the competition. Bastard! Zhao Tianlong roared and came up from his own. The energy cannon and melee weapons of the armor were activated at the same time, and the firepower was fully opened, trying to make the explosion of forest flying. But Lin Fei seemed to be completely desperate now. Every step of the armor was carrying a terrifying sense of pressure. The energy knife slashed out several sword lights in succession, forcing Zhao Tianlong's shield to spark 4 times. Zhao Tianlong, today I let you know that people in the wasteland piles are not easy to bully. Lin Fei roared, and in the last shot, he used all his strength and the energy knife to slash directly at the core of Zhao Tianlong's armor. The competition scene suddenly fell into silence, and then there was a deafening cry. Give it! This guy really beat Zhao Tianlong. Lin Fei's armor finally couldn't hold back at this time, and he knelt on the ground with a click. His energy was exhausted and the lights that controlled the wheel were completely drained. He gasped, crawled out of the car, sweating, and grinned, squeezing the audience with a thumbs up. Zhao Tianlong rolled out of the armor, his face was blue and his eyes were full of resentment. He gritted his teeth and stared at Lin Fei, shouting in a low voice, "Remember to me, I will settle for you sooner or later." After saying that, he was supported by his followers and left the venue in a wolfish manner. Lin Fei ignored him and turned toward the brothers who were passing through the pile of irons, and the fire in his heart became even stronger. He knew that this was just the beginning and the real challenge was still at the back. In the next few rounds, Lin Fei relied on his repaired armor and his lifeless fighting style to kill the game. His name began to be passed down among the bottom people, some called him the God of Wasteland, and some said he was the hope of the civilians. Every time the competition ended, the brothers who were running away from the pile of iron would be surrounded by him, discussing the war and the armor modification plan excitedly. The iron was so happy that he couldn't stand it. The words on his lips were still the same, "Boy, don't be too hungry, the noble clan's help is not so easy to deal with." Sure enough, on the eve of the game, Xiaomei hurriedly ran over with a broken data board in her hand, full of solemn face. "Lin Fei, it's not good. I just got news from the black market that Zhao Tianlong's decision not only wants to revenge, but also has joined forces with several precious families, planning to use his hands in the game and wipe you out." "Moving your feet? What does it mean?" Lin Fei was stunned, put down the wrench in his hand, and looked at Xiaomei with a snail. Xiaomei bit her lip and said in a low voice, "They bought the referee team and were ready to set up an energy interfering device at the game to mark your armor, force you to overload your energy, and directly blow up the machine. Also, Zhao Tianlong's armor has changed its top-level configuration, and its firepower is twice as strong as before. I don't plan to give you a way out. Damn, this help Satsuko is so terrible." Lin Fei punched the table, his face hard to see. He knew that the noble tribe never talked about rules, but he didn't expect to be so unpredictable. "Lin Fei, why don't you forget it? We don't compare, life is important." Xiaomei's eyes were filled with worry, and her voice was trembling. "No." Lin Fei stood up suddenly, his eyes lit up. "I retreated. What do the brothers who are in the wasteland see me? They are waiting for me to win, waiting for me to argue with them. If I feel sorry, won't that guy named Zhao Tianlong laugh?" "Xiaomei, stop it, I must fight this scene." Xiaomei wanted to say something. Lao Ji left at this time, patted Lin Fei's shoulder, and said in a deep voice, "Boy, I will support you. The noble tribe is too bullying. What are our bottom-level people always being humble?" However, Xiaomei said that this competition is too dangerous. "I will dig up some information with her. You can try the machine armor first, and we must make the worst plans." Lin Fei pointed his head and clenched his fists. "Okay, I'll wait for your news." On the day of the competition venue was full of people, and the audience was full of people, and the eyes of the bottom and the noble tribe were focused on the two armors in the center of the venue. One is Zhao Tianlong's new armor, with a red armor, and its weapon configuration is very valuable at first glance. The other is Lin Fei's broken armor. Although it has been repaired, the shell is still full of shaved. Compared with the other party, it is simple like a joke. "Lin Fei, today is your death. Don't think that winning the first game will really make a big difference. The waste iron is always a waste iron." Zhao Tianlong's voice came from the communication channel, full of sneer. "Stop talking, see the truth under your hands." Lin Fei snorted coldly, stood up straight with his body, and was secretly alert in his heart. He knew that the information collected by Xiaomei and Laozi all night long last night was almost the same, and there were cats in this competition. With a whistle sound at the beginning of the game, Zhao Tianlong's armor Lacoma came over, with energy cannons and guides, and their firepower was extremely strong, not like the configuration of low-level armor. Lin Fei bit his teeth and controlled the motor armor to dodge left and right, but a low-frequency interference suddenly came from the venue. His motor armor control system instantly stuck, slowing down by half a beat, and was rubbed by a guide, and the shield energy bar dropped 1/3. "Damn, there is indeed a ghost," Lin Fei said, and his brain flew quickly. This kind of interference special point for the old armor, he had no defense at all. If this continues, it will be difficult to fight it for several minutes. In the audience, the bottom class was anxious and some people couldn't help but shout, "Referee, this is unfair. There is a problem in the venue." But the referee group ignored the pressure, and several guys who were like Precious even sneered in the stands, not taking these protests seriously at all. "Lin Fei, think about it, you have no chance." Zhao Tianlong laughed, the control armor approached, the energy cannon was recharged again, and was ready to give Lin Fei a last shot. But at this moment, Lin Fei suddenly had a crazy idea in his brain. Lao Ji once said that the combat module of this machine armor has a final shape, but it requires extreme pressure-limiting energy, so if it is not done properly, it will directly blow up the machine. But now, he doesn't have any choice. System, activate the final shape, and the energy is extremely limited to the limit. Lin Fei suddenly pressed a dazzling button on the control panel, his palms were covered in sweat. Warning, the final start of the machine will cause the armor to collapse and the survival rate is less than 10%. Are you sure? The sound of the machinery rose coldly. Agree. Let me fuck me. Lin Fei roared, staring at Zhao Tianlong's armor. The final form is activated, the energy pressure is being reduced, complete. As the sound of the mechanical sound fell, the armor suddenly burst out a terrifying energy wave, and the entire broken body seemed to be reshaped. The energy knife evolved into a 5-meter-long sword light. The blue current on the outer shell of the armor was violently shaking, and the air instantly crushed the entire field. What's the thing? Zhao Tianlong was stunned, and the audience even exploded. No one expected that this broken bullet armor would have such a trump card. When Lin Fei did not respond to the other party, the control armor rushed straight, completely without the influence of interference. The energy knife slashed down hard, slashing Zhao Tianlong's top shield into pieces. The second knife followed one after another, directly slashing at the core of the machine armor. A huge sound of shock sounded, and Zhao Tianlong's machine armor was chopped by more than 10 meters and hit the ground hard, losing its fighting power at all. The whole scene was silent for a second, and then there was a loud shout that shook the earth. The bottom-level man was yelling Lin Fei's name in a nutshell. Some people even walked down the stands, wanting to take a closer look at the waste war god who created the miracle. Lin Fei's armor also reached its limit at this time. He knelt down with a click sound, and controlled the smoke to appear on the wheel. He crawled out from inside, full of injuries, grinned and shouted at the audience, who said that the people who have run out of iron can't win. I'm the champion today. The referee team had a beautiful face and had to announce Lin Fei's victory. In the audience, the bottom-level man raised him high, shouting like a hero. But Lin Fei noticed that several figures of the noble clan in the stands stood up, staring at him coldly, and talking about something in a low voice. Xiaomei and Lao Ji ran over the crowd at this time. Xiaomei was covered in the face and smiled and said, Lin Fei, you are so awesome. We win. The old iron sniffed his eyebrows and said in a low voice, Boy, don't be too early for Gao Xing. The noble clan will not help you well. This champion is too eye-catching. Next, we have to be careful. Lin Fei looked at the cold gazes in the stands far away, and a sense of anxiety ignited in his heart. He knew that this victory was just the beginning, and the real storm was probably coming soon. Lin Fei stood at the highest point of the wasteland pile, looking at the ruins of the Starry Sky War scene far away. The broken crow armor stopped behind him. Although the outer shell was still full of steepness, after many upgrades, he exuded a terrifying sense of pressure. He thought he could catch his breath, but the anxiety in his heart became more and more intense. The old man said that the noble clan would never be good at helping others, especially Zhao Tianlong's failure, which has finally angered those who are above the top. Lin Fei, come down quickly, something big is happening. Xiaomei hurriedly ran up, holding a broken data board in her hand, her face was hard to see. I just got the news from the black market. The noble high-level team has ordered a general attack on the waste iron pile. They said you are the head of the bottom layer's resistance and want to uproot us. General attack? Really? Lin Fei glanced at the head and took the data board to see an encrypted communication record. The noble clan army and the clan actually joined forces and were preparing to wipe out the pile of wastelands from the star chart in the name of suppressing the rebels. Damn, this helps Atsuko is so cruel. Lin Fei punched the iron plate next to him, his face blue. He knew that the joint between the noble tribe and the gang tribe was definitely not a small fight, and the people like this were not a match for the waste iron piles. The old iron also left at this time, holding a smoke, his eyes were sunken. Boy, the noble clan is afraid that you will threaten their status. The clan wants to take advantage of the trouble to get our resources. They are in the hands of each other, even if they want a good match. No matter how powerful our armor is, we can't resist thousands of enemies. What should I do? How can I sit and wait for death? Lin Fei gritted his teeth, and a fire that was unwilling to accept it was burning in his eyes. He finally climbed from a wasteland pile to this day, and it was impossible for him to be so jealous. Of course not. Lao Ji spit at a smoke circle and grinned. I still have a trump card. Before I retired that year, I buried a super core of an old antique armor, which could blow up half a battleground. We use this thing, and we might delay time and let the brothers retreat. Retreat? Lao Zi, what do you mean? The old iron patted his shoulder and said in a low voice, Boy, staying Green Mountains is not afraid of no firewood. The waste iron pile is our home, but life is more important. As long as you are still there, the bottom layer has hope. You take your brothers first, and I will stay and fight for time for you. No. I will never leave. Lin Fei's eyes were red, his fists were clenched tightly. If we want to die, we will die together, we will fight together. The waste pile is my root, and I can't throw you away and run away. Xiao Mei also opened her mouth at this time, and her voice choked. Lin Fei, Lao Ji said it right, you are our hope. If you leave, we still have the chance to turn over. You stay, 10,000, 10,000, who can still resist with us? Lin Fei bit his teeth tightly, and his brain was in a mess. He knew that Lao Ji and Xiao Mei had a reasonable point, but the unwilling feeling in his heart was burning like fire. At this moment, a deep engine horn suddenly came from far away, and hundreds of nutritional armor and the biological warships of the clan were approaching. The black pressure covered half of the sky, and the air was crushed and the pressure was so strong that people could not breathe. Here! The old iron suddenly stood up straight, his face solemnly, Boy, don't hesitate, take Xiao Mei and your brothers away. This is an order. Lin Fei wanted to say something else, but the old iron had turned around and began to point the brothers who were slaughtering the pile of irons to start the defense fortifications. Although they don't have any weapons, they have broken the old parts under the debris over the years and have forced a few simple turrets to be used. Old iron. Lin Fei's throat tightened, his eyes a little sore, but he finally gritted his teeth, turned around and pulled Xiao Mei, and ran towards the retreat passage behind with a helping brother. But I didn't run far away, and there was a shocking explosion from behind, and the defense line of the wasteland was instantly torn apart by artillery fire from the nutrition army. Lin Fei suddenly turned around and saw the old iron standing on a pile of waste irons, holding an old controller in his hand, full of blood, grinning at him and smiling, Boy, don't turn back. Remember, let me live and take out the fire from the waste iron. Old! Lin Fei roared, and his eyes instantly popped out. His eyes were slight, as the old iron pressed the controller, and a cracking machine armor suddenly burst out with a dazzling red light. The terrifying energy wave directly swallowed up dozens of expensive matriarch armors around him, and blasted out a vacuum belt. Old iron. Lin Fei choked and his fists were clenched quickly, but he knew that it was not the time to act emotionally. He turned his head suddenly, gritted his teeth and shouted, Xiao Mei, continue running with her brothers. I'll go back and have a vote for them to avenge the old iron. Lin Fei, are you crazy? Xiao Mei was so anxious that she stomped her feet, but Lin Fei didn't hear it at all. She dropped her head and rushed back to her broken armor, jumped into the control board, and pressed the start button. System, the combat module is fully opened, and the final shape is activated. Lin Fei shouted, and his fingers flew quickly on the control panel. The armor spinned and the light of the energy knife burst into a 5-meter-long sword light. The entire broken body seemed to be reborn, and the air directly crushed the entire scene. The dogs and snails are all kinds of. Today I let you know that the people who are piled up in wasteland are not easy to mess with. Lin Fei gritted his teeth and controlled the armor to directly hit the enemy. He did not obey the other party's artillery fire at all. The energy knife slashed out several sword lights in succession, and slashed several armors into pieces. The biological warship of the snails was also cut off and his touching hands made a harsh roar. But there are too many enemies. The noble army and the sects rushed over as if they were alive, and the artillery fire was so dense that almost all the space was blocked. Although Lin Fei's armor was strong, his energy bar dropped wildly, and his shell was hit with sparks, and he was about to be unable to hold it back. Lin Fei, retreat! You can't die. Xiao Mei returned with several brothers at this time, holding a few simple energy supplementary module in her hand, shouting with a slight face, "We will give you a shit, run away." Running the bad. The old man is gone, why are I running away? Lin Fei yelled with red eyes and gritted his teeth, "Xiao Mei, throw the supplementary module over. Today I will either fuck them or share the same way with them." Xiao Mei gritted her teeth and threw several modules over. Lin Fei caught the machine and quickly installed it into the energy tank. The armor sounded buzzing, and the energy bar instantly rose to 50%, and the war's strength surged again. "Come on, who'll die first?" Lin Fei roared, and the armor was like a blue flash, rushing into the enemy. Wherever the energy knife went, the armor and the warships of the noble clans burst, and the scene was bloody and shocking. At this moment, a loud voice came from behind the enemy and sneered, "The boy who was running away from the iron pile is really capable. However, the game ends here." As the sound fell, a huge black motor armor was lifted off the air, 3 times larger than an ordinary motor armor, and it was filled with agri-red energy traces. It was obvious that it was the high-level ace motor armor of the noble clan. In the driving, Zhao Tianlong's father, Zhao, the stern leader of the noble clan, stared at Lin Fei coldly, with disdain in his eyes. "Zhao Wu? I'll clean up together today." Lin Fei bit his teeth and controlled the motor armor and rushed directly, but the opponent's black motor armor firepower was strong. With an energy cannon, most of Lin Fei's shield was lost. The huge impact force directly lifted him for several 10 meters and hit the ground hard. "Just like you want to challenge me?" Zhao Wuji sneered. The black armor approached, the energy cannon was recharged again, and was ready to give Lin Fei a fatal blow. Lin Fei gritted his teeth and got up from the control wheel, covered in blood, grinning, "What's wrong with the waste iron? The waste iron can kill you. System, the energy is extremely limited, the last hit. Warning, energy pressure reduction will cause the armor to collapse suddenly, with a survival rate below 5%. Are you sure?" The sound of the machinery rose coldly. "Confirm." "Fuck me." Lin Fei roared, and the armor burst out with unprecedented light. The whole body seemed to be burning. The energy knife suddenly burst into a 10-meter-long sword light, carrying the atmosphere of destroying the sky and the earth, slashing the extremely unscathed black armor. "Looking for death?" Zhao Wuji roared angrily, and the shield of the black armor was fully opened, trying to resist the shot. But Lin Fei's knife seemed to condense the anger and unwillingness of everyone in the wasteland pile. The sword light slashed down hard, slashing the shield into pieces. The core part of the black armor was directly torn open, and an explosion that shocked the ground was emitted. Strange. The black armor turned into a group of fireballs, and the silence of Zhao was heard in a loud voice. The new tribe army and the clan tribe formed a group in an instant, and the military collapsed and began to retreat. Lin Fei's armor also reached its limit at this time. He knelt down with a click sound, and the control of smoke came out of the control wheel, and the entire armor began to collapse. He rolled out from the inside, full of injuries, stared at the direction of the enemy's retreat, and grinned, "Old, did you see it? We won." Xiao Mei and her brothers came over here and helped him up. Everyone was filled with tears and smiled like a fool. Although the pile of wastelands was full of devastated eyes, they guarded their homes and the dignity of the bottom-level people. A few months later, news of the waste pile reconstruction spread throughout the Starry Sky War. Lin Fei's name became the figure of the bottom-level man. He was respected as the starry overlord. He led his brothers to build a military group of civilians, which completely broke the severance of the noble clan. Every time it was late at night, Lin Fei would stand at the highest point of the wasteland pile, looking at the starry sky, and murmured in a low voice, "Old iron, I have taken out your fire." The people who have wasteland piles will never be lowered. His broken crow armor stopped behind him. Although he could no longer fight, the shell full of scars was like a flag, telling the legendary story of the overlord from the wasteland to the starry sky. And this story will be passed down forever in the Starry Sky War.